Ultraviolence Land. So, this is like my black humor again. Some Americans don't know what black humor means, but it's basically like British humor, sort of real tongue-in-cheek. So, it's just like, oh God, the state of the world, everything's so So I was like, whatever, I'm just going to embrace it. And so Disneyland has all these different, there's Adventureland and Tomorrowland. And so there's all these different themes of lands. And I was like, well, I'm going to make Ultraviolence Land. And actually the word is from A Clockwork Orange. I don't know if anyone knows that reference, but, he talks about ultraviolence all the time because that's like, they're really into like beating people up and they're really into like violence. The hoodlums in the movie. So I like that reference to that because I love Stanley Kubrick and I think that's a brilliant movie. So Ultraviolence Land is basically like, I'm going to make this really, really beautiful, seductive world with like princesses and a forest and like diamonds falling from the sky. But it's really, really the whole, their whole universe is just basically constructed on violence. And it's it's a metaphor for an imperialistic sort of culture. So there's a couple worlds in Ultraviolence Land. There's sort of like the central kind of castle-y world where all the princesses like take all their pills and have their balls and they have fancy cakes and diamonds and all this stuff. And then outside of that, there's a forest, which kind of represents like, nature and, scary, subconscious kind of, so it's like this dark forest surrounding it. And a lot of the symbols in that show, I use a lot, that like the princesses that are taking, poisons and pills. I mean, that's always, like our sort of excessive, like rich person disease or whatever, which is like, I'm so depressed, and, but I have everything. Anyway, so it's sort of like tongue-in-cheek, like, I'm just going to like make this totally over-the-top, violent, beautiful world. But how do you introduce violent things into a painting and make it sort of subversive? And that was the real challenge, is like, how do I do that? I mean, it's so awful to even think about. So initially the paintings have to be really beautiful to make people attracted to them and look at them. And once they're looking at them, that's when I can come and say, okay, here's what I'm trying to say.